What is up, YouTube? This is episode 15 of the Spiritual Warrior Podcast. I'm Corey, here with my friend John.
How's it going? It's been a long time.
It's been.
I got the vid.
He can't breathe. He can't breathe.
Psych. That's Fugazi. Today we're talking all about fear and how everything that goes on in the world today is made to perpetuate fear in you, and why fear takes you away from being here now.
Exactly. And fear doesn't even exist.
Yeah, nothing exists. Nothing. That's all about being here now. Nothing exists in the present besides the present.
That's a matter of fact. Besides the moment. What do you have more than the moment right now? So I think a lot of people get caught up searching. Oh, I'm out to dinner with the person I love. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm not thinking about the dinner. I'm thinking about having sex afterwards. Right?
Hey yo. Probably.
But probably, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm at a baseball game right now. It's so much fun. But you know what you're thinking about? How terrible it's going to be leaving the stadium. Now you got to leave in the 8th inning. You can't leave in the 9th inning because the traffic's going to be bad. You can't be here right now. We're spending so much time thinking about another moment, we forget this one exists. It's quite fucked up, right?
It's a crazy paradox.
It's a crazy paradox. We're searching for another moment, not realizing that we've had the one forever.
This whole time, it's been here forever, man.
This whole time. And that's all the spiritual practices are. Every spiritual practice, in the end, the end goal from every spiritual practice is to be here now, right? Ram Dass says it best.
Yeah, Ram Dass, baby. And I was even thinking about, I caught myself like not in the present last night before I was going to bed. Like, I don't even know what I guess I was just feeling like I just got back from the vacation, like school started today, like all this. And I was just like, I don't even know what made me think this. Like, I've never really thought of it before, but I was like, damn, like I have like so many more days of just like getting up every day and like school, work, like all this shit, like so many years left of just like waking up every day. And like that's true, but like you can't be thinking like that because people think like way too ahead into their lives, and then like that only causes you fear, stress, anxiety, the whole list of the low vibrational states of beingness.
But you can choose to love what you're doing right now, even if it's not necessarily what you want to be doing right now.
And I'm on the love and being joyous all the time. In that, I know you said you watched a little bit of the Joe Rogan Sadhguru podcast, but Sadhguru was saying, like, what does everyone always say, right? They're always like, oh, you should work hard. You should work harder, or you should work hard. You should do this hard. You should play your sport hard. Like all this stuff, right? And when you say you got to work harder to do something, that's ultimately just setting you up to be like upset about it or to complain in the future. Because like you're like, say you're out of your job and you're working so hard and you're not getting the result that you wish to have, right? And then you just complain about it for like however long. And he was saying, like, if you work, no one ever says to work like happily or joyfully. And like if you work joyfully or happily, ultimately you're going to get what you want way quicker than if you work harder. And during the process of you actually working, you're going to be more happy and more joyful because like you're actually enjoying what you're doing and being present in the work you're doing. You're not like, by saying to work harder, you're like
working harder is very self-centered, right? Like I feel like you work hard to benefit the self. But if you work joyfully, you're not working only for yourself, but you're working for others. And it's the intent behind what you're working for is what produces the best results for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I literally just had class on this in my ethics class, right? We were talking about servant-based leadership, right? And the idea is my teacher was saying, like, it's a new like theory in how to be a leader. It's not necessarily a leadership theory, but it's more of a leadership, a way to go about leadership essentially. But it's essentially just being in service to others first before being a leader. So like the servant is fully immersed in serving the well-beingness of others, and like that's all the servant knows. But then these servants usually come to a position of leadership because like people respect like when you serve others and like when you have compassion and you have the best interest for other people rather than fully being immersed in yourself. Those people may be humble and sit in the back of the room, but they really care the most. And like those people are ultimately the ones that end up in leadership positions because then like everyone almost emulates that person so much that they're like, okay, now I want to learn from this person. I want to follow this person, even though that person maybe doesn't necessarily want to be in a leadership position. They emulate all the good qualities of a leader, and they ultimately end up in that leadership role.
You could build a whole entire structure in a company or whatever it is around a selfless person, because if
Yeah, and
you're being selfless, like you're benefiting the whole rather than the singularity of
yeah, and I
yourself.
resonate with that like a lot. Cause I don't even like talking about myself like that, but like as far as like becoming the president, right, of my
Mhm.
fraternity, like I never wanted to like do this shit, but like my peers, I guess, respected me enough and like knew that I have like these good qualities of like selflessness and service to others that they ultimately want me to lead them,
Mhm.
which is like kind of weird even like saying that because like I'm not a like I'm like a very humble like taken back person. I'm not like
Mhm.
the guy that's always like trying to make the most noise in the room or anything like that. But it's weird, but because that is the best way to serve is to or the best way to lead rather is to be in service of others. And that's what the law of one talks about also. When
Mhm.
you're in service to others, they give a percentage of 51% service to others, 49% service to self. You'll be harvested into the next dimension
Mhm.
or your next life.
And not even on like the law of one wave, but service to others. When you can spread that love and see other people as equals, it it's a much healthier environment all around. Like
Because
whether it's in social settings, whether it's in the workplace, whatever it is, like just being able to see other people as a reflection of yourself, looking into somebody's eyes and seeing the soul in that person rather than the being that that person has thought themselves to be, or the being that you think that person to be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and I have a quote here. I don't know if you could still see me or not. Probably
No,
not. Can you?
you're not up right now.
Yeah, but I'll just read this quote real quick. Let me get it up. But I
Go
literally wrote it down
ahead.
today because I was reading this article on servant-based leadership by it's called The Servant as a Leader by Robert K. Greenleaf. And he said, I believe in order and I believe in order and I want creation out of chaos. My good society will have strong individualism amidst community. It will have elitism along with populism. I listen to the old and to the young and find myself baffled and heartened by both. Reason and intuition, each in its own way, both comfort and dismay me. So, like, essentially, that idea of what he's saying is like the servant based leader is by building up people or having more individualists in your society, you ultimately raise a community of like well-minded, well-rounded people because like and you could refer this to consciousness and the fact that by me and you having this podcast right now, we're individually raising our own consciousness, but whoever watches this, we're raising theirs also. And by doing that, we're raising the collective or the global consciousness because we're putting the ideas out there for people to better themselves individually. But as you better yourself individually, it's almost impossible for your betterment to not project itself out into society and then ultimately project onto the other people and have them also better themselves. And that's
And,
what he means by the individual by having a more individualist society, you're also having a more society
mhm,
revolved around community.
and that's why I think it's so like important that when we started doing all this TikTok and Instagram and YouTube stuff, it kind of just like really kickstarted itself because one, like it's cool like being able to share our ideas with each other, but like we were doing that anyway. But it's much
Yeah.
better, in my opinion, to hop on here and have a conversation rather than go on FaceTime. I'm making dinner. Like it's it's much easier for us to share it for a large amount of people. I mean, not large, like I don't know, we're getting 15 views a video right now, but even
Better
those
than
15
what
people, that's better than
one
none. Those are
or
15
two.
people. Exactly. Those are 15 people that possibly took something away and learned something. And that's what I do. We read and watch videos all day to try and do that. And we're trying to spread that same exact knowledge. And the one thing I thought, I found myself kind of like on the TikTok, like looking at the TikTok, like posting a video and then like checking it a couple times, like, oh, do we get like every time you get the 99 plus notifications on
Yeah,
TikTok,
yeah.
it's like a dopamine rush. You're like, oh shit, 99 plus notifications. You go on there, right? And then I thought to myself, I'm like, at this point, like we got the one video, it's got 235,000 views right now. Like
Which one?
the Adam and Eve one.
Damn, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it had that many.
Yeah, it's got so many. So we've been getting followers all the time. So every time I go on TikTok now, it's like, however,
Damn.
at least 50 notifications.
Like
almost
we're
every
currently
time.
banned on
Yeah.
TikTok until like the 27th, I think.
Yeah.
But I still be going on, and there's still people below following us all the time. There's still people. I just went on your one Jesus TikTok about like not idealizing a sky daddy.
Okay.
There's people beefing in the
Beefing in the comments,
section.
yeah.
There's like I clicked on one comment because like that was I guess the most recent one, and it brought me to like the comment section. There's literally like 100 comments under that one like person's like
Yeah.
first comment or whatever of people just like going at it like back and
It's
forth.
crazy.
But essentially, that is low vibration in a
Yeah.
sense. But like it's helping our
Yeah.
algorithm.
I
in
get
a
a good
sense.
time sometimes commenting at people.
Damn,
Button
there's some bots,
button
bro.
heads a little bit is always.
Dude, some
It's
guy, I
okay.
meant to tell you this. I texted you, but I don't think, whatever.
Yeah.
But this guy commented on your Tesla video. It wasn't even a Tesla video. It was a video you made that's pinned right now about downloading our thoughts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a guy comment this morning. He was like, like a bunch of Tesla cultists. And I was like, well, what does this even mean, right? Like calling us
Yeah.
cultists because we believe in Nikola Tesla. And I was like, what kind? I literally said, like, what kind of comment even is this? I was like, do you not believe in Nikola Tesla's like technology? And then he said something about that we created AC before Nikola Tesla existed, and we didn't. None of his technology is like practical or something. And I literally didn't even answer him because I was like, I can't argue with a guy that's literally just dismissing Nikola Tesla's tech. He said 369 is BS. Like it's not BS. Like
No.
not even a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's beyond. That's doesn't even matter. But I just think that's funny.
Yeah, no, it is funny.
People out
And
here.
and like the fact that like we see that right now just proves how much we see that and it bothers us. Just proves how long we have to go. Like
Exactly.
until like
Facts,
it's
that's
I'm the same exact way. Like I was saying before, like I would look at the TikToks, there would be like a little dopamine rush, like, oh, we got 76 notifications. I checked TikTok 5 minutes ago. It's like what the like it doesn't matter. But then I realized like, oh, it doesn't matter how many notifications we're getting. We could get 10,000 views on a video, or we could get 500. Like even 500 people looking at a video that I made is more than enough people to affect. Like it's just a number in my head, but like I didn't think about like the time. Like if 500 people sat and watched a video that's 60 seconds of mine, that is 500 minutes of me watched. Somebody took in my knowledge for 500 minutes. Like,
yeah,
that's
it's crazy.
just like an interesting concept.
It's crazy to think also that like in the beginning we would get even say 100 views and we'd be like, wow, like that's so many. Or we'd get like, I don't know, like 50 likes or something. And be like, that's so many. And now we have 13,000, almost 14,000 followers. And like you just said, your one video has 235,000 views. And we come to the conclusion that we're still like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Essentially, because as we keep growing, like it's like, okay, like this video got 20K views, but like that didn't do as well as the other one. So like we need to do better. But like it's like nah, because like none of that shit matters at all. Like it matters in the material sense that like for you and I, like we obviously want to grow this because like the bigger outreach we get, the more like we could use it for our own good, and the better outreach we get, the better we're doing for humanity essentially. But like if no one watches it, it doesn't matter anyway. Like I'm still living my life how like it's like it could be very well life changing, and it already has been. Like we literally have 14,000 people that like I guess care to.
Oh, you're cutting. Time out. I lost you. I froze.
You froze, yeah. I was essentially just saying that like we have 14,000 people that care to watch us, and like if we could reach 14,000 people, just me and you, with the power of 2 people, what can the outreach of those 14,000 people be? It's astronomical.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
just by us projecting our knowledge onto the world, those 14,000 people now have all our wisdom,
Mhm.
and now they could project it to infinite amount of people.
That's how
And that's how
the
you get
exponential
the
effect
ball
works
rolling.
when with the David R. Hawkins consciousness scale, right? So
Yeah.
like if we can raise our own vibration up to high levels, we can affect more people positively. And the more positive effect we have on other people, the more positive effect that those people have on other people. And it's an umbrella effect. We're affecting people all over the world. Like we look at that, we
Yeah,
look at
bro.
those analytics, we see, oh, there's people in New Zealand and Canada and Australia and what all these other countries, Mexico, I think some people follow us. Like you just look at the reach that we're having right now. And it's honestly mind-boggling to me. Like I didn't think what we had to talk about was all that interesting. Like we're just texting each other about it for the last year, and then we started this last month. And I don't know. Off the business topic, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about. Be Here Now, right? And Ramdas, his book Be Here Now is amazing. I'll screen share it right now.
Hold up, yeah.
So
And
we can
like
kind of look at it together.
what we got here.
I find this one awesome. I am without form, without limit, beyond space, beyond time. I am in everything. Everything is me. I am the bliss of the universe. Everything am I. Right? So that's just a statement how powerful the I am statement is.
Yeah, and I wrote that down. I have my journal right here.
Mhm.
I literally wrote that down. I meditated this morning, and I wrote it down. Like I always like jot down what I essentially meditate on.
Okay.
And like this morning, I just did a lot of I am statements, and I wrote, I am loving awareness. I am light. I am confident. I am powerful. I am healthy. I am everyone. I am all. Right.
Mhm.
And then the last thing I wrote is my body is the most complex machine on the planet. Gather the tools to unlock its full divinity and power. And like it's the I am's the most powerful statement because like you literally are everything. But until you say I am this, you're not fully that, essentially. And if you could just say I am present right now, that's probably the most powerful statement along with what identity you could give, because you could literally give an identity to any I am statement.
Exactly.
But if you can say I am here now or I am present, that's the cream of the crop right there.
So the I am present, right? The I am statement is a statement of presence because whatever you claim you are becoming that very thing. So if I sit here and I claim I am confident, I am light, I am abundant, those things will manifest themselves metaphysically into my life, and then through the metaphysical, I can manifest them physically. Right? People think manifesting is like, oh, like I can think and oh, I want an elephant to be in front of me. If I think about it, it's gonna pop up. Like, no, that's not how anything happens.
Yeah.
Like,
What does this one say?
your imagination is the bridge from the metaphysical to the physical. So every physical thing in manifestation has had to be a metaphysical imagination or thought before it can actually manifest physically. The same thing as the universe. You hear about the Big Bang, which was the original thought. The original thought when consciousness became aware of itself and wanted to experience more. So it started experiencing more moments. And all those moments that consciousness infinitely experiences is the expansion of the universe, right? Because the universe is conscious. That's its very essence. You wanted me to talk about this I don't even know. I just landed on a page over here. I was just scrolling.
Well, let's read it. Let me read it real quick.
All right, here, go ahead.
Because like every page of this book is like freaking wisdom out the ass.
Mhm.
Understanding the possibility, there are 3 ways in which one knows what we were talking about tonight. One way in which you know about it, it is through direct experience, through some way or another, through being alone in the desert, through falling in love, through bearing a child, through nearly dying, through turning on, through yoga, through taking any one of your senses and pushing it beyond itself. Going through it, you have touched a place inside yourself that has intuitive validity. Yeah, that's powerful, man. Those are essentially.
Yeah. And then it keeps going. I've been with literally now well over 100 people who have had such an experience, which was so powerful and valid, but it was so discontinuous with their normal consciousness that they screamed for help. The help that was available to them was a group of minds which said, that's all right, you've just gone crazy. And the experience you've had is just an experience of psychosis. So
yeah, which is not true.
So yeah, here I'm gonna take the book off now so we can just see each other.
Yeah, but that like let's talk about the being here now and how it correlates to the fear, right? Like he just said, these people have these experiences which aren't regular to their normative consciousness, right?
Mhm.
But like what you think your normal consciousness is not even remotely anything close to how infinite your consciousness is. And that's what all these people tell you, like they had this like powerful spiritual experience, whatever it may
Mhm.
be. And then someone that's low vibration comes along and tells you that was just an episode of psychosis, which
Mhm.
like it wasn't in any sense psychosis. It was real.
Mhm.
You were seeing through the veil of this illusion of what our
Mhm.
dimension, our third dimension is. But then you have like people that come in and tell you no, that's wrong. Even like I always you brought up that the story of your sister who somehow
when
got
she
that
when she yeah, I don't know, somehow realized that somebody's dead husband was in the corner of a hotel room
yeah, but like
waving to his wife, or told my little sister to say hi to his dead wife, and she said her dead husband, who died just very recently, by name to this woman, who immediately started crying and had to leave the bar that she was with my parents when she was
exactly
only
and
like
like
7. Like that type of stuff is like beyond comprehension of normal waking consciousness.
and then it's like it is but then you could your parents, I don't know if they did or didn't, but your parents could essentially, because they're not of that, they're not connected to spirit, because like Lainey at the time was a young girl, she was fully
Mhm.
connected to spirit, obviously, to have that experience. But your parents could turn around and say, Lainey, that's bad. Like there's kids around the world that are psychic in nature, and their parents don't understand what happens with their child, and they
Mhm.
deem their child crazy, and they keep telling their kid don't have an imaginary friend, because little kids all have imaginary friends, and whether they're real or not, it's real in the kid's imagination, so it is real. It
Mhm.
like
They
anything you think
created
is
it
real,
being
they
there. Yeah.
created it, so it is real. But your parents will tell you that's bad, don't do that anymore, like don't go talking to the kid in your room by yourself like your imaginary friend, like that's wrong, you shouldn't do that. That's
That's a
your parents,
socialization process that gets us detached from
and
the imagination realm.
that's because of all the fear that our parents and our grandparents have been perpetuated
Mhm.
through years of all this like elite cabal globalist like reality that we live in. And that's again the I just saw a clip of Tony Robbins. He just came out with the new book Life Force, I think it's
Okay.
called, but it's all about health essentially. And he was on the Logan Paul podcast, and they asked him something about COVID, and he said the two top things of why people were dying from COVID. Number one, like 80% of people that died from COVID were obese to begin with, so like they weren't healthy in any sense. But then the second main reason was people are living in fear, and when you're living in fear, you quite literally shut down your immune system. That's what he was saying, because like your immune system can't fully operate if you're living in a state of fear, and it's metaphysical, but it's also it manifests physically into your body, because if you
Mhm.
shut down your immune system, you get sick, you can't fight it off. And he said all these people are dying, you take in less oxygen in a state of fear, and all of this just makes your sickness or whatever you have more or worse off. And it's like crazy that the top two ways of dying from COVID is from unhealthy people being obese, and two, from living in a state of fear. And then it's like, well, all you see on the news is just constant fear propaganda, and you wonder why all these people have high anxiety, depression, all this nonsense.
Exactly. And it's all being perpetuated to us for our own demise, right? People, the ways that it's being fed to us and shown to us is by people who know that it's not positively affecting us, through the media, through the
Mhm.
pharmaceutical industry, through the food industry, through um literally everything. I mean, those are just three,
Because
but
all those people they know, all these higher ups, these elitists, people like ask like, or not even ask, people don't believe in it necessarily, or maybe they do believe in it, but they don't understand why. And it's because these are the same people that have been around for thousands and thousands of years, that are all of the same bloodline. They are all connected to the occult wisdom, and occult not necessarily being bad. They're using the wisdom for bad, but like these people
what we
know this
perceive
shit.
as bad.
Well, yeah, because nothing's good or bad. But these people know this stuff all about consciousness, and they know how to perpetuate it so that you are not awake in your own divinity. And like they're awake in a sense to the service of themselves, which is a completely different path you could take in this eternal life. But like that's not the right path. We all got to get on the path to service to others and oneness consciousness.
Mm-hmm. That's how we get to the 5D Earth. We've been getting a lot of comments
5D.
recently about how do we reach how do I get to the 5D? How do I get to the 5D? And it's like, look, like I can't draw a map for you because frankly, I don't think any of us really know. But from what I understand,
Yeah, what do I know, bro?
but from what I understand is my life since I started trying to live in the 5D Earth has been much more positively affected than negatively affected.
Hold up.
And I can see the change in how I respond to things, how I affect other people, etc. through all these different things I've been doing, whether it's meditation or yoga. Like yesterday, I took my shirt off, went in my backyard in the grass. The sun was shining, did some yoga. I've been learning some poses. Now I could do a whole routine, just like getting outside and breathing too. Like it's just important. Feeling the moment.
Best thing you could do.
Breathing, man.
Breath is life, baby.
Back to that fear thing. So I want to talk because I've been reading A Course in Miracles.
Yo, I want to buy that.
Real good.
What's that got to say about it?
It's been taking me a while to read because I keep having to like go back and like I've been underlining stuff.
You got to annotate it. It's very like complex.
Yeah, very complex, very high vibrational. Like the words always jump off the page. But what they talk about a lot is fear, right? And how fear is miscreated by the mind rather than created. So we are living in the umbrella of God's creation, right? Everything we experience is the creator's manifestation, imagination, if you will, of what they believe life to be. And we are the co-creators in that reality. So I can sit and I can co-create a song and use my imagination to co-create a song, or I can co-create my journal. We're co-creating this podcast right now. So we are co-creators to that creator. But the one thing that the co-creator can do that the creator can't is the co-creator can miscreate. So what we can do is we can miscreate in our own mind. So creation is done in love, in awareness, in prosperity, in abundance. But miscreation is done in the mind. Because when you're living in the mind, you're not living in God's creation because God didn't create your mind. You did. The co-creator did. So you can miscreate fear and negative thoughts and emotions in your own mind. But the thing about fear is not fear or scarcity of anything external. It's fear of your own mind. So, okay, I fear losing my job. Why do I fear losing my job? You do a great job with the why experiment. This is a good one. It always ties it back to the mind when you apply it to fear. I'm afraid of losing my job. Why are you afraid of losing your job? I'm afraid of losing my job because I won't have money. Why are you afraid of not having money? Because then I won't be able to pay my bills. Why won't you be able to pay or why are you afraid of not paying your bills? Oh, because then I'll be in debt, whatever. But ultimately, if you keep following that down, it ultimately goes down to a fear of what's going on in your own mind, because everything is always okay as long as you have this moment, which you always do. So the same, like you can apply it to anything. Oh, I'm afraid of going up and performing in front of people and playing my guitar. Why am I afraid? Because of what other people might say about me. Does that actually affect me? I'm afraid of what I might think when those people cast their judgment upon me, right? I'm afraid of my own mind. And when we can escape our own mind and live in the present moment, the here now, we're able to live in abundance and prosperity, etc., and free from fear. You're able to access those high vibrational states such as love, peace, joy. That's what happens when nirvana, right? Those are the states that the creator wants us to experience. And that's what this book talks a lot about. And it's dictated by Jesus is what it says. So it's written as if it was written by Jesus. So it's very interesting. Yeah, Yeshua. So it's a very interesting take on kind of like here. Let me see if I can pull out a quote from it for you. Okay, so denial of error is a strong defense of truth, but denial of truth results in miscreation, the projections of the ego. Okay, so that's just one quote. We could talk about that quote for an hour, but the miscreations of the ego, right? Because the ego thinks that it's real. So everything that you do in your life is an act of the ego. Not everything.
But essentially, a lot of the things you make is an act of the ego. And that's not even, you can't even say the ego is bad. You just have to come to terms with your ego and you still have to identify with your ego because, like, you still
The
got to
ego isn't
exist in
bad.
this world.
Think about it as two minds. So you have the Holy Spirit, you hear angel on your shoulder and devil on the other shoulder, right? You have the Holy Spirit on one side and you have the ego on the other. And the ego is the service to self. That's the half of you that says, oh, there's 4 slices of cake and there's 4 people. You really want 2 of them, right? But then the Holy Spirit is saying, oh,
No,
we're all equal, right? And the Holy Spirit sees truth and the ego doesn't not see truth, but it denies truth.
And the good thing about that is the ego doesn't exist once we move on into this next life. So conquer the ego now and you'll eventually get yourself harvested up into the 4th dimension of full love and oneness, baby.
Exactly.
That's the true infinite potential that we have inside of us in our hearts that we need to come to realization with, is that infinity within us, is that love.
Exactly.
All about the love.
All about the love. The Creator created us all in the image of him, the formless image of him, because this is not me, right? That's what you think I am. That's what I think I am. But what I am is something a whole lot more going on behind the scenes, right?
Oh yeah.
What you are is a whole lot more going on behind the scenes. But what we all are is one infinite consciousness.
Infinite consciousness.
Exactly. But what is not infinite?
Time on this podcast. See you later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Check us out on TikTok. We'll be back. We are not standing down to TikTok.
No, we're gonna come back. Who are we calling back?
I don't know who the creator of TikTok is, but
we're calling out BitChute. We're calling out BitChute and the CCP and Xi Ching. Okay, so you get your communist ass out of our DMs.
Yeah,
stop blocking us on fucking TikTok, or we're gonna end up in China.
They know we got the true power.
I'm gonna take a plane over to Taiwan and defend it. Because fuck the CCP.
Fuck the CCP.
Fuck. That's it. All right.
That's it.
All right. We're watching.
I gotta go to class.